In this interview, I talk with Shannon Mattern, who is an online course creator that specializes in helping women entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed and maybe intimidated by getting the technical part of everything set up. She helps them set up their websites and funnels and all that stuff. So in this interview, we go over two different marketing campaigns she's run recently, both of which required no ad spend, no money to get started. One of them produced $6,000 of revenue immediately and over $1,000 a month in revenue, and the other one produced $20,000 in one-time sales. So listen in, pay attention closely to the details of what she did. If you're a course creator, coach, or consultant, you can take the exact strategies that Shannon used and apply them to your business. So let's jump right in. So Shannon, what is your business? What do you do?
So I teach entrepreneurs how to build their website, specifically non-techie entrepreneurs with WordPress. So I have a training that just breaks it all down for them.
Yeah. Do you have who's your best fit client? As a particular type of entrepreneur selling a specific thing, or what would your best fit client look like?
Yeah. So my best fit client is someone who is, they're typically women who are non-techie, trying to figure out how to build a website because they already know, they need to build a website, they need to build an email list, but they don't quite know how to get started. Yeah. And so that's kind of where I come in.
So what's the product itself?
The product coaching? So the product is, I give away this training for free. I make affiliate commissions on the back end of it through Bluehost, ConvertKit, all of my affiliate partners. And then I have website templates that I upsell on the back end of it too. And that's just one of the things that I do.
Is that the primary?
Yeah, that's kind of the entryway into the world of what I do. Yeah.
So you give away a free course. They go through the course. Through the course, you teach them how to set up the website. They don't pay anything to you through that process. You're just getting affiliate cuts off the different things they set up. And then you have some premium product. What's the price? The product is website templates. So what are the price of those things?
$197 for the website templates. And then I also upsell a marketing tech training. And then I also inevitably got web designers saying, how are you monetizing your web design skills? And that kind of turned into me mentoring web designers too, to kind of model this thing that I do with my web design skills for specific niches.
So what percentage of revenue comes from the affiliate stuff versus the upsells?
So it's about 50% affiliate. So my business is basically, 50% affiliate and courses. Sorry, 50% affiliate, 50% products and courses.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So pretty evenly split.
Yeah.
So over the last year, you've started using kind of a different marketing method of partnering with other people and borrowing their audiences. Yes. You have two instances recently that have worked fairly well that I thought we'd maybe mention. Maybe we could dial into one of them and share the story. One with Casey Morris and one with Expert VA Training. Talk about Casey. Maybe tell what Casey does real quick, because it's not in my mind, based on what you just described that you do, she doesn't necessarily serve that exact audience. She kind of serves a vertical inside of it. So give a quick introduction to Casey and her market.
Yeah. So Casey serves teachers who basically take their lesson plans and sell them on marketplaces like Etsy or Teachers Pay Teachers or something like that. And she teaches them how to market and sell these digital products that they create. Yeah. And so, it's really kind of nothing to do with what I do on the surface.
Okay. So let's go to the end and then work back through the story with her. Somehow you identify, let's go to the end point. You did a partnership with Casey. What were the results? What was the revenue results from that?
Yeah. So we did a partnership that resulted just initially in $6,000 in sales for me and 600 new email subscribers. And it's ongoing. So it's definitely an evergreen thing. We set it up to where I'm consistently bringing in new subscribers and sales from that since we did that last September.
What do you expect the ongoing monthly revenue to be from that?
Gosh, probably about $1,000 a month just from that initial partnership that's just kind of sitting there working on evergreen.
Okay. So you help people set up websites, primarily focused on women entrepreneurs who aren't techie. She helps teachers sell their resources and different things online, primarily via marketplaces that exist to do that. So how did you identify her as someone who would be a good fit for you? Because they're seemingly unrelated items completely.
Yeah, so I had every time someone signs up for my training, I ask, how did you hear about me? Because
Mm.
there's a million different ways I'm looking for kind of people to collaborate with. And I kept seeing this name. And so I researched her and I was like, okay, so she does something completely different than me. So I just kind of dug deep into like, what was she teaching them? Like, oh, she's teaching them how to blog, right? She's teaching search engine optimization. Here's where I can kind of come in and, help her demystify some of the tech for her teachers. And so I reached out and I pitched her, and my first ask was, do you want to come on my podcast and let's, get to know each other?
Yeah.
And, I want to hear your story. And I didn't hear anything. I followed up, didn't hear anything, and then finally heard from her team like, nope, she's not interested. Her schedule's full. She's not interested. And so I was like, okay, well, I followed all the way to an answer, and I'm good. And so a few months later, her team reached out to me and said, so someone, all these people that kept signing up for my training, I guess, just kept talking about it in her group. And so she saw my name and then reached out to me and pitched me on a collaboration with her. And I think, it was because I was like taking notice and really serving her audience, starting to really engage with them and talk to them. And so my name kept coming up to her, someone that they were telling her, like, you need to bring her in to work with us. So it was really interesting the way that happened.
What did y'all do? What was the partnership?
We did something that she called the Teacher Blog Blast Off. So basically, for 5 days in her Facebook group, I went in every single day and I taught like part of my 5-day website challenge training. So I'd basically be like, here's what you would do on day one. Go sign up to get the full like click by click. And so for 5 days, I went in and taught a different part of that, answered questions for her people, and then also like went into her Facebook group and answered all of their techie questions. So I probably spent like 2 hours a day for a week with her people.
And was that in Facebook Lives was the format, or what was the, okay. So she has a Facebook group of how many people?
Oh gosh, I don't know off the top of my head. Thousands and thousands of teachers.
Which is one of the more fascinating things if you like really think about how a lot of these teaching-based partnerships work. Like she has an audience of, let's just say 10,000 people, and you get to spend 2 hours a day live training in front of those people for a week.
With her endorsement of like, this is your girl for tech, and we just met.
Yeah. Like if you think through like the major components to sell anything, you got to have leads, which she has them. You got to have trust, which she's given you and you're building throughout that week. And then you just need to like put the product in front of them. So I don't know, that's a great format to do that in. So you reach out to her. She says no. Eventually y'all kind of bump into each other again. She invites you for a week. You do a 2-hour training every day. You're in front of 10,000 plus people. What happened? Like, how do you get sales out of that? Because you're just giving away free information. So how do you get $6,000 of sales and $1,000 a month from that?
Yeah. So part of it was referring people back to the full training, right? So I'm in there showing up, teaching them, answering all the questions. And then we can't possibly in 2 hours a day, like click them through everything that they would need, to do. So it's like, come sign up for this training. And in my training, they're buying their domain and hosting. I'm getting an affiliate commission. They're, buying their email marketing system. I'm getting an affiliate commission. I'm upselling my website templates in that training. They're buying those. So I'm making money there. So I got to go teach them and to kind of take away their apprehension and fear about even getting their website set up. And then they're coming, signing up for my free thing and like buying everything I'm telling them, because Casey's basically saying, this is your girl and do what she's telling you to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? So a lot of times when somebody's just starting out, like doing teaching-based partnerships, they're like, why in the world would they want me to do that? Like what's in it for them? So what was in it for Casey? Why did she want you to do that?
Yeah, I hear that a lot too, because, it's just like, why would somebody, I don't have an audience. Like, I don't have an audience of teachers. What is in it for her? Like, my audience is not teachers, but she noticed that people would hesitate to invest in her program because they would get stuck on the tech piece. Like they would not want to move forward with going, learning from her because they didn't have their blog already, or all of the things that they thought they needed to do to be successful in her program. And she didn't want to teach that stuff to them.
Yeah.
That's not what she wanted to do. And so it was of massive value to her to bring me in and get these people over the hump, because right after we did this 5-day thing with her, the next month she did her launch of her program and had this pool of people where she's like, I've got you covered with the web stuff. Like, you can move forward with me. Yeah. And it was really successful for her.
Huh. That makes sense. Okay. One other example you gave of a recent one you did was with expert VA training. So fast forward to the end of that, what were the financial results for you from doing that one?
So I've had several of the people that I was introduced to through that partnership join my Web Designer Academy, which is a $5,000 program, because those VAs were really trying to start web design businesses.
Yeah.
I've had them. So that was like a really interesting, I was really going for email subscribers, and I did not expect to get like customers into my, like my more in-depth programs as quickly as I did, but it made sense when I was thinking back on it. I'm like, oh, they're virtual assistants. They're not just wanting to build their own website. They want to learn all of this stuff to make money for their clients. And so that one, it shouldn't have come out of left field for me, but it did. That wasn't what I was going for, but that was like warming those people up so quickly. So that was probably like $20,000 in revenue. Wow. From the people that I met, doing that training for her audience, and just keeping that relationship, and then them learning what other ways I had to help them. And they're like, yeah, we want to learn from you.
So with Casey, you did 5 Facebook Lives in a row for a week. Yep. What did you do with expert VA training?
So I pitched expert VA training to just do a workshop for her students. Her name's Kathy Guggenauer. She has like a boot camp. And so I was like, hey, I want to come in and do a WordPress training for the people who have already joined your program, like value add for your current students. Mm-hmm. And she was like, who are you? And do you want me to pay you? And I was just like, no, this is what I do. I love to collaborate with people, add value. And so she was like, okay, well, I'm having this workshop series that I do quarterly. We have a spot open in August or something. And do you want to come and talk about website stuff? And so I put together the training. She was blown away by it because it was like so actionable. Like it was everything I would charge people to learn, and delivered that to her community. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was just like, this is what we needed. This is what was missing. We need to come, and since then I've done more speaking engagements for her, trainings for her. And I'm like her go-to for tech.
So how did you identify her as someone to potentially teach in front of her audience? What put her on your radar?
One of the strategies I learned from you guys in the Partnership Accelerator and Growth University, it was literally just like Google it, like thinking of the shoulder industries or whatever. And I just Googled, and I was finding all of the people who did VA certification. That one was like a more obvious one for me than teachers or someone that trains teachers. But so I just, I found her website. I just got on her email list, and then replied to one of her, like stalked her online a little bit, to kind of figure all of that out, and then got on her email list and kind of waited to kind of see what my in was going to be, with what she talked about and what she had, what she was blogging about online.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And so you identify her via cold Google search, you find her, then what do you say to her to get her to open her mind to wanting to do that with you?
Gosh, I should pull up the old email, but I mean, I'm sure I screenshotted something that she had written. I think she was featured in Forbes.
Okay.
And I found that article that someone had done with her. I screenshotted something that she said that resonated with me about like the freedom, flexibility, and financial independence of starting your own business. And I was like, I totally resonate with your mission and why you do what you do to train virtual assistants. That's why I teach people how to DIY their own websites, because I don't ever want tech to stand in the way of them being able to like build their own online business. Would you be interested in, XYZ?
Yeah. And she says yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, first she was a little skeptical. She was
Yeah.
like, do you want money? And I'm like, no.
That's great. And to clarify, the way you made money from her, you did the training for her. And was that like a webinar, or what platform?
Yeah, it was just an hour long. Like I put together, I said, I asked her, what does your audience struggle with the most when it comes to this stuff? Yeah. She told me all the things. I put together a custom training for her to address all of those points, speaking specifically to VAs. And then it was like part of something that she offered to her students were these quarterly guest things. And so I just basically did this hour-long training, stayed and answered all of their questions for as long as they had them. There was no pitch on the end of it. It was just, hey, I have this free thing. You can go get on my email list. And from there, all of the funnels I had working in the back end, got them into my other programs.
How many leads did you get from that one?
That one was probably like 50 people, from that showed up live to that. But I mean, it was like,
but they converted really well.
They converted really well.
Yeah, so over $20,000 of revenue from 50 people.
Exactly.
That's significant. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. That's great. So what you've got two different types of partners. You got the teacher audience, you have the Teach VA audience, seemingly completely different types of people. Neither one brain dead, obvious. Maybe the VA one a little bit more so, but definitely not the teacher one. So what do you look for in a potential partner?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, I just look for like, are we aligned in our values? Because I can, if they have a similar value of like, they believe in entrepreneurship, they believe that, this is kind of the way forward. And it's obvious that like, there's some technical component to making that happen. That's always an easy way to just reach out to someone. Right. They are teaching some kind of online business. Yeah. They're teaching some kind of strategy. Mm-hmm. So whether that's, and there's so much out there for me as a web designer, but someone who's teaching DIY graphic design, I've done a partnership with that person because that's very obvious. But I'm just kind of looking for someone who teaches strategy but doesn't want to teach the tech, or I don't see anything. They're not talking about the tech, or they're saying, I teach you the strategy, I don't teach you the tech. And I'm like, there's my in, because I know your people need the tech.
Yeah. So going forward, you've kind of found two pockets that work well: VA training stuff, teacher, people that help teachers. Are those markets you'll try to dive into to find more partners? And if so, like, how do you go about doing that?
Yeah. So just cold Google research podcasts, looking at, podcasts that the people that I've partnered with have been on. Online business managers is another, just really kind of thinking about kind of the journey of an online business owner and what are all the things that they need to be successful. They need copywriting, they need graphic design, they need all of these things. And in thinking about that, I can kind of make a list of who are all these people that I can reach out to. Like the list is endless once you kind of get past the idea that what do I have to offer them in terms of promotion to my own audience, especially when you don't have that big of an email list.
Yeah. So overall, what about this approach to selling your products appeals to you versus other things you've tried?
Well, I tried all the other things.
Which would include what?
Pinterest, search engine optimization, Instagram, webinars, Facebook ads, and just endless content creation. And it's a hustle. It's a hustle and it's a grind. And it's like, oh, I have to create my own audience from scratch. And it's just so much work. It's so much work. And not to say that all those seeds that you plant along the way don't eventually bear fruit, but it's not nearly as quick as a partnership. And so once I started doing outreach, partnerships, collaborations, and just being really open to where they could go and not trying to necessarily like dictate the terms of them or anything like that, it just got easier. Like it just got so much easier. To show up for 2 hours a day hanging out in someone's Facebook group might sound like a lot of work to some people, but I'm like, I just got to show up and do what I do. There wasn't a whole lot of preparation. It was way better than spending that time just like in my office by myself writing a blog post hoping people would see it, and it's more fulfilling, more rewarding, takes way less time, makes a lot more money.
So someone where you were 6-12 months ago, endless content creation, Facebook ads, all the stuff, mostly not working, some kind of working. What advice would you give to them if they're listening to this thinking like, ooh, like I think I could show up in a Facebook group for 2 hours once a week or a few times a week and sell my stuff? What advice would you give to them if they're considering doing that?
I would say, don't discount like even if you're brand new, right? Just do not discount the value that you have to bring to someone else's business. It's not always like a numbers for numbers, tit for tat, even sales kind of thing. Like if you can think of how can I serve this partner as if I was serving like a customer? That's kind of how I think about all of my partners. And I learned that from working with you guys. It's like, I want to like blow this person's mind, and over deliver on this because it's going to pay off for me so much more in the long term. And so I don't have to have a certain number of blog posts first or a certain size email list or a certain social media audience size to get this person to say yes to me. The right people will see the value in us collaborating if I frame it right to them, like with what's in it for them.
That's great. Thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
All right. Thanks for listening in on my conversation with Shannon Mattern. If you want to check out her business, head over to shannonmattern.com. If you want my team and me to audit your business, find the partnership opportunities that you have and coach you through executing them, just like we did for Shannon, let's talk. Go to growthtools.com/apply and we'll set up a free strategy call with you. We'll talk through your business and find 2 to 3 small hinges that could swing big doors and see if it's a good fit to work together. So go to growthtools.com/apply. Hope to talk to you soon.